Okay. So we're gonna talk about some recap the family thing.
Yes, yes. Recap family day. And the Family Day Coalition that's getting ready to jump off. That's in development. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, for Family Day next. Let's see what's up.
Jana, how are you? Want to say good afternoon, Jonathan Rush. What's going on?
Mhm.
Hey, listen, it's been a while, but we are back.
Been busy.
Lena, how are you? Go ahead on tag share. We got a lot going on today. A lot going on. We're gonna catch up on a lot of stuff. Y'all don't want to miss it.
There you go, did that. Tag and share. Tag and share.
Get everybody in. Get everybody in. Want to say good afternoon and once again, welcome to the Greg James Community Show right here on Hallelujah 95.3 FM. And listen, we are excited to be with you on this wonderful Wednesday. And joining me in the studio is none other than, I would say Christy Henry, but I'm going to just say the conscious chick. That's her radio name. How are you?
I'm conscious.
You conscious? Hey, I promise you, at this point of the year, I mean, our conscience must be awake.
Yes.
I mean, because there's so much going on in our community, our city, our state, our nation. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Listen, I think first of all, shout out to Thanksgiving. We needed Thanksgiving this year, right?
I mean, you know what? Believe me, we did need Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving gave us a moment to really reflect.
Yes.
And really be thankful and really consider that all that we have been through. So yeah, shout out to Thanksgiving. Greg, how are you, man? So truly big shout out to Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And
Time to Thanksgiving.
yeah, and so much we haven't been on the airways. I mean, it's probably been about 2 to 3 weeks.
It's probably been because the schedule has been on crack.
On crack.
You know, no offense to folks who like crack. You know, listen, it has really been insane. So let's recap November.
Yeah.
November, beginning of November, right? We had all these football games, all this energy around homecoming, all this energy, you know, that came off of FAMU's homecoming. Then we go into the second week where we had all this energy around this big concert that happened in Tallahassee, celebrating 50 years hip hop. Yeah, and Veterans Day. People forget about Veterans Day. That's pretty huge in Tallahassee.
Oh yeah, really huge.
Really, really huge. And so you got a lot of energy going there. Then you got again the games and all the energy about hearing about the SWAC game being held and hosted here in Tallahassee. I don't think people really understand sports commerce.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, we're gonna get a chance to hear some in-depth details. We got Vaughn Wilson who's gonna call us and give us some real in-depth details about it. But here's the beautiful part about what we're celebrating in Tallahassee. I mean, you got on one side of the tracks, you got Florida State University.
Yep.
On the other side, you got FAMU. And both of them will be playing on Saturday in a championship game.
In a championship game.
I know there's going to be, this ain't no shade that I'm about to throw now.
Please don't throw no shade.
But,
we don't need no shade.
But what a great investment that the city and the county made, investing into FAMU Stadium, investing into Florida State. What a great, I mean, so much controversy was taking place, but look at what has happened.
Okay, so
I mean,
how y'all doing? no shots don't be fired this afternoon. What I will reserve my comments is to say, yes, it's a great investment, but there's a way to do everything.
But here's the beautiful part about it. There's a way to do everything.
There's a way to do everything.
And I just believe that the return, I mean, what we're seeing. Now, this is
the end justifies the means. Absolutely.
Okay,
I think that we're gonna the time is gonna tell. Time is gonna tell. I think right now what we see right now is we see a huge return on the infrastructure and investments because everybody's coming here, right?
Everybody.
And everybody. No, I want people to hear that everybody is coming. Tallahassee is on the MAP, and let's throw some, not no shade, but let's throw some bullets out there. First of all, Tallahassee is dominating the headlines, whether you think it's positive or negative. They're dominating the headlines. They're dominating the headlines because of the HBCU energy. Guess where all the energy went from Jackson State to? FAMU. And shout out, congratulations to Coach Willie Simmons.
Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year for SWAC.
Yeah, ain't that amazing?
Coach of the Year. That is not just amazing, that is pivotal.
And the thing about it that I think is so pivotal for us here in Tallahassee is that we are able to see the community rally behind Florida State and rally behind FAMU.
Yes.
And we're able to see where there is great tourism coming into the city. Well, listen, guess who has now joined us on the line?
Oh.
I mean, he's traveling all over, covering HBCs everywhere, and we could not have him call in at a better time. Vaughn Wilson, how are you?
HBCU, we can't hear him.
How are you? How are you, sir?
Right. We have this conversation about sports and commerce, economy, right? There are some things as a community we do well that are economically viable. Sports has been one of those things. And to have the premier HBCU, the Florida A&M University, first of all, would you agree it's a good point to make that a lot of the energy that left with Prime at Jackson State has now somehow come
to the shotgun?
Say it your way, because it might be the right way. Right. Yeah. So. But let me go back to the point. There was a lot of energy around HBCU that was generated during that time in Jackson State. Okay, with that individual has gone on to greater things and is doing great things. But the energy there was not lost; it was transferred to a team that has built itself over the last year and has shown itself consistent and strong and continuing. Would you say, as a media person, not the legacy part of, because we know that there's not an identity problem here, but in terms of media space, all of that energy that seemed to have left that place appears to have transitioned. The eyes are 100%. If they weren't 75%, they are 100% here.
I agree with that. I do agree with the additional eyes that was brought with the spectacle that Prime brought to both Jackson State and now Colorado. Was he, and I might add, the fact that you got a black man coaching, being a role model there, to me, that still touches my heart.
Yeah.
I thought you do it, Simon, and the commercial, I told my wife that's one of my favorite commercials. Kids grow up in front of my eyes, and that, just that he brought to Jackson State.
Yeah.
That good vibe that he got this, you know, and then to reach the flag. Even HBCU didn't realize the importance of it. Colorado knew, and their athletic director was willing to bet his on a coach who would only coach 3 years. He was willing to bet his career on a guy that only coached 2 years. And the economic impact was over $10 after the first 3 games at Colorado with that visibility of him. You had college. The Deion Sanders break, you can't just get another Hall of Famer to do that. Deion is unique. And marketing himself in college and continues to be one of the best marketers. He's a whole.
Well, and I think it's important to say that, right? Because you said something really pivotal, Pastor James, that sometimes we don't realize the importance of certain eyes. Sometimes we don't realize how important, not that you sell your soul for it, but you have already good ingredients, a good recipe, good stuff here. But people don't get to see it in our community. We have great things that happen, great people, great systems, but they're not at a stage of visibility where they can manifest the type of impact economically that they should. Oh boy.
Very diplomatic about it. Only said here. I guess I need to go down there. And Colorado showed him USF Pride. But Colorado with the president because they realized that was, but it's too late now. It's too late.
Baby, that'll preach on so many levels of community. I'm trying to tell you, look, that'll preach on that right there will preach on so many levels because it's an undercurrent, right?
Right.
What do you say about that? It's an undercurrent.
Well, I mean, the thing that I think that we have to notice, Vaughn, and I think you made that very clear, is that one, he has branded himself from college all the way throughout. So the blueprint that he had in place, he never strayed away from it. It just was at a grading level. And I think when it comes to HBCUs, he was able to, put more eyes. And he said some things that were very controversial when it came to HBCUs. But guess what? It woke up the consciousness of those who were in positions of power and authority to say, well, maybe he has a point that we need to consider. And you got to know that FAMU has an amazing leader on their coaching staff with that of Coach Willie Simmons, because rumors were that Deion was trying to get him to come be a part of the Colorado team. But he remained here, and now we are celebrating an opportunity for one to see him as Coach of the Year and to see Prairie View back in Bragg Stadium on Saturday. Looking at all of that, Vaughn, and you being throughout with HBC game day, what does that say to us as a city, as a county?
So you can say that's what it is. This is a John East, the former athletic director, a very smart man.
Yes.
Because when it was his time to hire a coach, he said, I'm not going to the search committee. I'm not going to the process. President, can I go hire who I want to hire? I already know who I want. And he went afterwards and said, was the head coach at Prairie View of all places. The team that he faced. Well, he was the head coach at Prairie View. With John East, when he got was this guy's from here. He understands the culture. Let me talk to the person about the previous coach. He said he wished he never made it. And everything he did seemed like he wished he had never been it. He's the wrong fit. He might have been right his own paper, but HBCU culture is looking for a message in that environment. It's kind of hard to drive it. So having the right person at the right time understands culture. He never lost his roots. He says it's his first job.
Yes.
I don't know what's going to happen if he wins this track championship and this celebration. I don't know what's going to happen after that. So, we know that there are very, very deep pockets, but I don't think just money alone is going to attract him away because of the way he operates. There has to be a family environment, and he has created that with those kids that can run through the ball for him. He's good with the alumni. He's good with local officials. He has served FAMU's brand very well.
He teaches a lot about teamwork in the local community, actually, and humility in a lot of different ways. I mean, it's just I've been able to work with Coach on a couple of community initiatives, and he knows who he is and he knows his environment, and we're blessed in the community to have him. And I would be, it's a real great story, not just about, it's a Tallahassee story, right? It's a Big Bend story, right? It tells you a different narrative about this community than what may be a national understanding about this community. I'm so super proud of them. And the last point I'll make about this, personally, as I listen, is that sports politics is political, right? Getting the SWAC championship here it took some doing, and for fresh legs, for the most part on the AD team, it just shows you the caliber of people that are working and not just working, that believe in the university, that are really trying to galvanize its value and maximize the moment that we're in. What are your thoughts on the politics that it takes to bring a SWAC championship here? Yeah.
You have the SWAC cross-country championship here. And the ACC cross-country championship in Tallahassee. We have one of the premier cross-country venues in the country. But it takes political clout.
Yeah.
Visit Tallahassee to partner with FAMU to say, hey, we want to host, this is what we have to offer. And so it goes well with the SWAC championship that office didn't even think twice. The mayor, the county commission chair, everyone was all in to make that happen. And then, not only that, the week after the SWAC championship, the state high school championship.
Yes. Absolutely. And leadership that supports us in the county and has made it seem almost easy. It's not easy. Those people have just done the
behind the scenes, they had to fill out the application to get the Florida High School Athletic Association here. They had to fill it out. So you talking about political? Yes, Fairview is in a good place politically, but we do have support from our.
Listen, man, we want to thank you so much for all that you're doing in and around the community, in and around the nation as a whole, and definitely keeping us abreast on game day HBCUs. I mean, they tell me I didn't make it to Orlando, but boy, they tell me that you were absolutely amazing in the work that you were doing in Orlando. I read your post at one point, you were sitting in the back. And now, if you just wait, God will move you from the back to the front. Don't get in a hurry. It will happen. Yeah, that was a whole one, man. Yeah. So, man, listen, man, we appreciate all that you're doing and certainly looking forward to, we got to pray for the Lord to hold the rain.
Yes.
The weather forecast has declared that it is rain in the forecast, but I want all the 15,000 saints that are listening in and the 15,000 ain'ts that are listening in to send up a prayer and let's see, can we hold the rain for this Saturday's Big SWAC championship game. Once again, Vaughn Wilson, thank you so much for joining us right here. Yes, sir. Hey, man, it's amazing to have people like Vaughn Wilson joining us. And then we got Jonathan Kelly.
Yes.
Jonathan Kelly is on the line now. I mean, listen, we coming back strong. Want to say good afternoon to Mr. Jonathan Kelly. How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Wonderfully. We're delighted that you're able to carve out some of your time to talk to us. I mean, when it comes to the financial market and what's going on in the financial world, man, we're glad to be able to bring you aboard to give us some tips on treasury. How about that?
You definitely conscious. And yeah, so just to kind of give a little insight, because I know obviously you're a financial advisor with New York Life and you do your personal trading and try to encourage other people to, make sure that they're taking what's going on in the market nationally and locally seriously. You posted quite a few really serious posts. I think I've been following for sure, as a professional that was birthed out of the Great Recession of 2008. Stuff with the banks scare me. Every time I see something wobbly happen with banks, it sets off my alarm bells. But then I saw your post today about the shifting of the stock market, and I'm going to try my best not to get real technical because I don't want people to be like, "Whoo, okay, maybe I need to tune out." But what's the big goal here? What's the big idea? What do people need to be thinking about going into the end of the year with financial markets being where they are,
Right.
And them having to? I got somebody text me today about helping a lady pay their rent, right? What should our community be thinking about with things that are happening nationally with the markets? How should we be thinking right now about financial survival?
Okay, well, that's a good question, Christine. A lot of people.
Yeah.
And the average person doesn't really understand what inflation is, so I just break that down.
Please.
Yeah, so basically inflation is what it costs, like how far your money is still wrong.
Absolutely.
So that means that inflation is too high, and if inflation is too high, that means our money is not really, our buying power is not really great. So that's where we're at right now. I follow Jerome Powell, he's the Federal Reserve Chair. Whenever he speaks, he's not talking about, he's saying we need to, say what inflation harder for people to use, let's say, now the rates are going up higher and higher because you want to be in gas. That's the scary part. And like you said, it's almost like a reach this time because even during the progression, you didn't have all these stimulus and all these relief packages that when COVID happened, it really people thought it was good that we were getting a lot of different relief checks and money here, stimulus packages, all these different things. But they have to understand that it's coming from the Federal Reserve. They're printing the money. When they read their payments back, where do they think that money's coming from? That's not having. It's coming from the security fund. It's coming from equity. It's coming from your 401k. It's coming from these investments. So that's where right now it's like it's starting to.
Listening to what you're saying. And I think if we break it down even further. So what he said is that interest rates are going up, and according to Keynesian economics, okay, let me not do that. According to the economic system that we follow here in our country, when rates go up, that is because there's too much money in the market, and they're trying to decrease inflation. They're trying to decrease it by keeping more, by trying to kind of stem the amount of money that's in the system that's causing causing prices to go up. Right. And so what you're saying is that right now it ain't helping. The inflation is there. The bar is set. It's only going to go higher without some form of correction. And what is happening now is that the correction, because the inflation is so bad, the correction is going to have to be severe.
Absolutely.
So let's go to the correction and let's talk about the correction, right? Because unfortunately, the last correction that we saw cost us as a community, as an African American community, over billions of dollars worth of wealth to our community. We lost real estate in the billions. In fact, I think some people estimate over $80 billion were shifted and lost and went to REITs and other venues of investment that came from hard-working Black folks in communities. Talk about how we navigate based on what we're seeing, right? And based on what you're projecting, right? Because it's not localized like it was to the housing market. It looks like now it's all over the place. It's Walmart, it's Meta, it's AI companies. It's a lot of different things that are signaling the correction is coming. Talk about financial survival through severe correction. And just in summary, don't feel like, because I know this like a whole masterclass, right? But just in summary, when we find ourselves in a situation like we did, where the button has been paused and things are collapsing, what do we need to do?
Yeah, so what even started that was what you said about that post, which was I posted something saying that the shareholders are starting to unload. Not good, it's not that they're doing about the hundreds of thousands of shares.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being pulled out.
Pulled out.
Just pulled out of the market. So when that's happening on a large scale at one time, that's going to cause the market to flip, And I think people, the average person doesn't understand because they're like, oh yeah. So that wouldn't make sense. If they're taking it out, that means they know something coming. They're going to make for a better position of price. So I always tell people, don't invest when the market is high. Invest
So let me ask you this: as we come to the close of the year, probably got about 12, 13,000 people tuned in. What would you say to the average family when it comes to preparing now to move into 2024 about their financial plans, about their budget? And what would you say? I mean, Christmas is coming. People are going to be borrowing money to buy gifts for people that don't even like them. I mean, so did I just say that? They're going to be trying to impress folk who they'll never impress. And then they're going to have to pay back the loan. What would you say to families who are listening to us when it comes to tips on treasure? What would you say to them? Mhm. To plan to navigate the select because people. I was listening to your analogy about the stock market, and Greg, Pastor James can tell y'all all about the stock market because that's his jam. And that, I mean, believe it or not, and we're not going to get onto this, but the young man that's on the line with us, I mean, we have spent months and probably years trading together, huh, Jonathan? and we're not going to even get into that, but we'll talk about what you've been to say. Go ahead. I think that it's important for people to know that a lot of the things that you're talking about translates to a lot of areas. So, you were talking about don't buy high, right? Don't buy it high. Just chill out. Don't spend what you can't afford. Don't buy high because it ain't, legalized gambling. But well, maybe it is. But at the end of the other day when my husband and I, who watch, real estate markets all over the country because we're in real estate, he made a comment the other day that this group called Bigger Pockets has listed Tallahassee on the hot list of properties that have low price and high return on investment. And so people here are just like, what you talking about low price? It's high as a 100 around here with this real estate, but I think that in comparison to other markets, it is relatively low and higher yield potentially, right? But unfortunately, that's where we're getting a lot of our issues locally with housing accessibility because we are a local national market. And people come here and they do Airbnbs or they come here and they get things that are nationally available, but because of the inventory rates, it puts a crimp on those who live here who need accessibility to those homes and to those. And so it's creating a problem. But I just thought that was so hilarious that they have us on a hot list saying that we're low priced and high yield on return. And it just makes you think the stock market is a national market, right? And so anything that happens there, any trading that happens there is happening all over the world, right? But our local market in terms of real estate, it's a local market. So the things that impact us locally, right? But people consume nationally. Can you speak to that? Speak to that perspective and how people who are just trying to live with these inflationary prices, how can they begin to figure out how they work out their survival and thriving plan financially for their homes?
I am, but you know, I ask other people. I do ask perspective. Mm-hmm. Um. Mm, mhm. Yeah.
I think, Jonathan, one of the things that we can all attest to is that once we find ourselves in a place where inflation is hitting, where we see the dollar is weakening, if we as a community of people, if we don't figure out that we cannot continue to spend every dollar
Yes.
that comes our way, we are going to make our communities even worse. We're going to make our situations even harder. And I think financial literacy is something that we
Critical.
must start teaching. We must start teaching how to collaborate with our savings. And you and I and some others, we meet, we talk all the time. What if 100 churches decided to all put maybe $10,000 in one fund to help generate revenues to be able to sustain our communities? And the market is the what, $7 trillion a day industry that many people feel so taboo about,
Yes.
that you can't explain to them that when you understand how the market works, then you understand how currency works, and you understand what rules the world.
Mm, mm. That's it. Right. That's right. That's right.
And I think that is a subject that has become, that is frightening to many of our communities, that investing, because we're always of the mindset of it's a scam, somebody's going to take something from us. But when you take $1,000 and put into the bank, and your return rate of your return on that is less than, in a whole year, is less than, I say, $100, less than 10%. But that same $1,000, the bank take it and place it into the market, and they turn it over 10 times.
Yep. 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 And the reason we do that is because we think it's a guarantee. I had the opportunity, Jonathan and Pastor James, to speak to a group of Africans, primarily from Kenya, who
Mhm.
own savings and credit cooperatives. Shout out to Loyalty Credit Union, Terrence Barber in the team. And one thing I learned about them and their banking system is that their banking system is hours predated to governmental guarantee. And so anytime somebody, you know, remember the movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Mhm.
And the man said that they came in there looking for their money, and they were like, "Where our money at?" And Jimmy Stewart said, "Well, your money went over here to her house to buy her, to get a loan for her to be able to purchase her home, and your money went over here." You know, he was trying to tell them that in a bank and in a cooperative setting, when you have shares collectively in a bank, your money is being placed there to fund the dreams of others. And they have a strong sense of the responsibility of them not just living well, but them investing in the lives of those around them so they can live well as well. Now, this is Africa, right?
Mhm.
This is Africa, okay? And there's a lot of, you know, narrative about Africa, but they have that mindset that, quite frankly, we used to have.
you know, where it pertains to making sure that there's resource available to fund the dreams, to fund the potential, to fund the needs of community. And so I think going back to what Pastor James said, I think that a financial survival or just a think tank here locally would be beneficial, particularly in marginalized communities where we have this kind of equity and prosperity gap. You know, what's the root cause of it? You know, is it our perception of money? Is it how historically our legacy has been linked to economic determination? What is really our issue, right? And how do we take steps to be able to turn that around?
Well, I think it's going to take guys like Jonathan Kelly and so many others who are on the forefront when it comes to financial advisement, and not only financial advisement, but just having the everyday conversations. And there's so many times that him, along with so many others, sometimes it'll be 20, 25 guys in a room. And what we're doing, we're talking money, we're talking strategy, and we're talking about how do we put plans in place to help empower our people. And I think that if we're ever going to see our community be able to hold on to the dollar at least 2 days,
yes,
I think it's going to take a lot of education.
Yes.
Yeah, I think to your point, this education is short, is having like actually
Yeah.
they see you on Instagram or TV or whatever business, but that's when people every day like that they saw in Tallahassee at the store, at the football game, at wherever they're doing it. The key is to get started.
Yeah.
Start educating yourself, getting around people who are doing it. And that's where I love talking to y'all, hearing y'all talk, because you're always teaching, motivating.
I think Jonathan, I think your number 2 point should be number 1, trust. We have to be able to trust one another. And especially when it comes to understanding where we are economically and being able to be financially stable, we got to trust plans. We got to trust people who are able to give insight and give awareness and education on how we must manage our dollars. I mean, one of the things we don't do, we don't even spend with each other. I mean, and I don't know whether we think ice on that side of town is colder, or I don't know what it is, but we've got to figure out how do we break this cycle that we are finding ourselves in. Because I mean, once we get the check, in 24 hours, it's gone in most homes. And I'm sure you see this.
Yeah. It is a mindset. But I look forward to expanding this conversation. As you know, Greg, we just came off of Family Day.
Family Day.
And if anybody doesn't know, the day after Thanksgiving in Tallahassee, Leon County, and should be in the whole state of Florida, is Family Day. And shout out to Ron Sachs, who is the local founder and champion of the Family Day movement here in this county city. We do a celebration and support with support from the city of Tallahassee, Leon County every year. That's done in a collaborative forum. Soul Southside kind of serves as the facilitator of the event, point for the event. And COCA, the Council on Cultural and Arts, Tallahassee Arts, shout out to Kathleen Spearhart, is the fiscal agent and works very, very well with coordinating all of the different entities that work with Family Day. And we have great sponsors this year in organizations like the Children's Service Council of Leon, who we look forward to having a more pronounced role in this in years to come. We've had partnerships with United Partners for Human Services to do outreach to family serving organizations to participate in the event. We've had great
working relationship with a lot of private companies, Capital Health Plan.
Well, I mean, before you dive
Mhm.
into that, hold on, let's do this. Jonathan, let's really, because I mean, I want to thank him so much for joining us for that segment. And I want to say this too. We've got to get a financial summit in place.
Well, that's why I was going into the family day conversation, but you wouldn't let me finish my commercial with other people because I can't say family day without mentioning all these people.
But see,
But I want to close him out. I want him to stay. I want him to stay here because this is a part of the conversation.
okay, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me finish. All of y'all,
See, she giving
everybody,
Jonathan.
that helped with family day, thank y'all so much. Okay, the reason why I thought about that,
Jonathan, she
It's
giving
because-
all them shots.
and TNL, hey, and TNL, thank you, TNL. All right, now listen. The reason why I brought up Family Day during that segment is because this is where the beginning of it starts. When we talk about family resource, a lot of the resources in our community are to fill gaps, right? Fill gaps in needs, fill gaps in capabilities, fill gaps in families. We really do need to form a coalition around families that addresses these gaps. Financial is huge. I mean, I get calls all the time from people who are facing a financial gap. They can't pay their light bill. They can't pay their rent. They can't pay for groceries. They don't have the money, right? And so I think a lot of it is cultural behavior, you know, in terms of survival and how we acclimate to behaviors of poverty. A lot of it is that people don't know how to appropriate resources. They don't know how to use financial resources. Jonathan, how have you seen the role of financial leadership in our community? And I know the county has a program, the Bank On program, and some other initiatives. But what do you and Greg, because y'all are in the financial space, what do you see the opportunity to move forward on something? I mean, even if it's just a series of real conversations, right? Where is the start point for us to really start saying, hey, community, we continue to have this type of demographic reality. How can we together start inching forward in this space? Hmm. Yes.
And I think, Jonathan and Christine, this is so important, is that people have money. They just don't know how much they have because they haven't been able to manage it. Way back when, Jonathan, you know, you and I know that there were times I was doing financial wealth teachings, you as well, so many others. And our ultimate goal was showing people how money works and talking about the stock market because, you know, at the end of the day, it's a quiet opportunity that you can do when nobody knows what you're doing, how you're doing. And I had a group with me for about 60 days. And the one thing that I said, tell me everything you spend money on. And I had one young man who said he buy at least 3 Cokes a day. Okay?
You talking about sodas?
Sodas a day. It don't seem like a lot, but when you do that for 5 to 7 days and you do that for 30 days, you're talking about you just spent over $200 buying sodas. Do you have to buy sodas? And then when you start letting people see what you're spending money on, and it's not a necessity, these are things that you want, they're not things that you need. And then when you discover the average person can't put their hands on $500 if an emergency arose in their family. So we gotta start showing people that you're spending money in the wrong way. I mean, you know, I'm grateful for this young man right here. I mean, the Bible says iron sharpens iron. And I've had many times to meet him at Panera Bread and sit down with the market. And, because I'm a lot older than he is, young man teach older people. He's been able to show me some key things that I needed to do in the market. So I think, Jonathan, it's time that we create a platform that we put families in the room. We go into these high crime areas and we take these young men who want to learn how to hustle and show him that there's a better way to do it and there's a legal way to do it. And there's $7 trillion available to you if you know how to do it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So,
and it can be done.
well, I think that the idea that was fueled back in the previous conversation when Pastor Clarence Jackson was here, we need to go ahead and kick off those money meetups.
Yeah.
We need to kick them off in January, but they need to be a blueprint now. They can't be just come listen to me and say how great I am and how much money I got and how I made my money. It's got to be about
how
them
to
leave.
help others.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that we could fill some gaps. I mean, and this is a hard reality, but it's a real reality. And Jonathan, I think that you can piggyback on this. And I think both of us are able to understand that being in the stock market, trading $200,000 is not a whole lot of money, but making 1% a day on $200,000 is something that can be done, that can help communities all over this city. If churches understood the power of their dollars in bank as opposed to having an arm of their ministry, that people are equipped to be able to manage a certain amount of their funds and to be able to make 1% a day to help support community efforts and help support vision of ministry. That's not hard at all.
That's right. That's right.
Most people don't realize that if you put your
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, man, what if you could just make 5% a month?
Absolutely.
What if you can make 10% a month? Whatever, it's still, investment tool like a money market account. Maybe 10%, 14%. But that's still not as good as what you can do yourself if you learn how to really do it.
That's right. And we're wrapping up on this point. And I've had this, and I'm sure you've had it as well, Jonathan. I had people tell me, well, if I learn this, why can't I make 20% a month? And I'm like, well, right now, you got 50,000 in the bank and you ain't getting 5% a month. So if I'm showing you how to make 10%, you want 20%, and then you want me to feel obligated that you got to do that. Well, I think you need to. And I think that until people understand the significance of being able to be your own bank, being able to manage your own money and maximize your own money, then we're going to continue to have those gaps. But Jonathan, man, listen, we're grateful for you. We thank you.
Thank you,
certainly we're excited about what we all can do together. And I'm looking at taking about 50 of our kids who are at risk and sitting them in front of a computer, Jonathan, and let's show them how to really make money legally and break the generational curse that their families may be on.
Amen. Hey, we got a tech hub over in the Appalachian Ridge Technology Center. Come on over and get on them computers. Shout out to Friggers Foundation. 12 computers set up already with a front screen that you can teach on and project your presentation. Look, I'm ready for these money meetups. It's time to do something. It's time to move forward.
That's good right there, isn't it, Jonathan?
Look, let's go and set it up.
Okay, let's make it happen. Jonathan Kelly, financial advisor for
New York Life.
New York Life. Hey, listen, it's been an amazing show right here on Can you imagine time just floating?
It always fly when you're talking about solutions.
Yeah, and you know what? I was we got y'all listen, y'all gotta tune in for the end of the year show. We're gonna have the end of the year roundup. We're gonna have it's election time getting ready to come up. You haven't registered. I mean, we just gonna December's gonna be an amazing time.
December's gonna be an amazing, amazing month. And guess what? We're gonna set December up so that we can go through 2024. We ain't gonna worry about this stuff going on nationally. God is gonna bless right here.
Well, listen, it's been an amazing time. I want to say thank all of you for joining us on today. Get ready for what's to come on the Greg James Community Show. 2024 is going to be exciting. We've got some amazing weekly show hosts that's going to be coming forward, and I'm excited about it. Conscious Chick will be back on her regular schedule program at the beginning of December. We're going to be rounding up and getting you some highlights on what to expect. And we're going to be talking about some moments in 2023. Anything you got to say before we get off this air?
Listen, y'all stay tuned. And most importantly, the information that we're sharing, know that it's for you. We want to make sure that anybody that needs any resources, anybody that's going through anything in terms of domestic violence, look, grab your partner organizations, use 211, call FAMU's infrastructure, FSU. Don't be out there suffering this season alone and in a situation. Get the help you need to be able to move your life forward.
All right. With that said, hey, listen, it's been the Greg James Community Show. That was the Conscious Chick. Big shout out to Vaughn Wilson and Jonathan Kelly for joining us on today. Hey, don't forget now, send up your prayers concerning the rain this weekend. And be safe out there and go FAMU, go FSU. It's happening right here in the city of Tallahassee.
Got it. Listen, if you're on here, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We fully intend on moving forward. We got some things to do in this community. We need y'all's help to do it. If you're down with helping us move forward, any of the ideas that were expressed today, please hit us up, inbox the Greg James Community Show, inbox Hallelujah 95.3 FM, inbox us. We want to work with you to see change happen in our community. And thank y'all for your faithful listenership.
All right. Be blessed.